Okay, yeah, the Hogwarts legacy controversy continues. Uh, I continue to play the game as well. It's very fun. It's an RPG, open world Hogwarts RPG set 100 years before the events of the books, where you can go around and talk with other students and take classes and learn spells, and it's great. It's great fun. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, I think it's going to be a great introduction to role playing games for a lot of people who have maybe not really gotten into them that much. I like to think of it as kind of a cozy RPG, and definitely in the mood for that these days. My last big RPG was the action RPG Elden Ring, and that's not cozy at all. That's the opposite of cozy. A lot of the games I play are really action packed, shooters and action games, whether it's Call of Duty or Dark Souls or whatever. I like those. I like the my favorite kind of game is action, violence, all that good stuff. But I also like cozy, dialogue heavy games, RPGs, where you walk around and meet interesting people and go on quests. And so I am loving this game, but unfortunately, a lot of people are not going to get to play because they have taken this position that it is bigoted and transphobic to play this game. And there's a lot of really strange misinformation out there, and just an unfortunate, I guess, not really a decision, but people have, as a group, decided to boycott this game, and that boycott has really been met with backlash. It's been super counterproductive, and it's failed. On Twitch yesterday, over 1.2 million people watched streams of Hogwarts Legacy, and making it the biggest single-player Twitch streaming day in recorded history. Well, all of history of Twitch is recorded, but so clearly this boycott has not worked. And if anything, it has drummed up interest, maybe even caused some people to buy the game out of spite. And I wrote about this earlier. This was a golden opportunity, I think, for the LGBTQ community to take back Harry Potter, to take back the Wizarding World as their own thing, as something that they weren't going to give up just because of this idea that J.K. Rowling is this anti-trans turf monster. Whether or not you believe that, let's just set that aside. Enough people believe that they are now saying that Harry Potter is dead to them. I think that is a shame. I think that here's a personal belief, that once an author or creator of some kind puts it out there, puts their creation out there, that it is no longer theirs alone, that it becomes ours as a collective whole. Anybody who wants to be part of it, whether that's Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, regardless of who created it, it becomes all of ours, whether we want to just consume that, create fan fiction for it, cosplay, homebrew some games, play some video games, whatever. This becomes much larger than the creator, and inevitably, whether we want to or not, we have to sort of separate the art from the artist. Even if we like the artist, we separate the art from the artist because they become unreal in a way. The creators of these things are so separate from the creation and from us that we have no choice but to separate the art from the artist. It's not like you're sitting in the room with them while they paint a portrait of you, right? They're somewhere far, far away. You'll probably never meet them. I think this was an opportunity to say, hey, look at this very progressive game. This has, enormous diversity compared to anything in the Harry Potter Wizarding World before it, compared to the movies, compared to anything. Like the student body and staff of Hogwarts in this game is much, much more diverse than ever before. There is a trans character in the game. The proprietor of the Hogsmeade Tavern, where everyone goes and gets butterbeer, is a trans woman, voiced by a trans actor. And instead of claiming this, or of saying, we're going to make this up, we're going to celebrate this. Instead, people are being called bigots for playing it, transphobic for playing it, for streaming it, for, on the even more moderate end, I've seen people say, well, I don't think you're a bigot or a transphobe for playing this, but you shouldn't be profiting off of it. You shouldn't be making money streaming it. Well, look, it's streamers' jobs. It's my job to cover this. We're going to make money doing that. So are critics like over at thegamer.com who keep posting about this game they're not going to make money off of. They're making money off of it. That's what they're doing too. It's, this reaction is counterproductive, and ultimately I think this is a bad hill to die on, but this is going to be ultimately, I think, a net negative for the trans community. I think this is really going to turn a lot of people off, and that's not a great strategy. And if I was the strategist here, I would say, no, you should embrace this game. It's not being made by J.K. Rowling. It's being made by people who are not associated with her. It's being made into this very diverse and progressive game, and celebrate that. Count that as a victory. Like, count it as a victory. That's how this works. The reality is what we make it. And right now, it looks like a pretty sad losing battle, and it didn't have to be this way. But really, now people are just doubling down. Like that trans character I mentioned. Her name is Serona Ryan. Now, people have reacted to this saying, oh my gosh, even the name is transphobic. Look, if you shorten it to Sir, it's Sir Ryan. Yeah, if you shorten it randomly to Sir, it is Sir Ryan. But you're doing that. The game doesn't do that. This is an inference you're making based on no evidence. What if her name was Siri? I mean, we all associate this very famous name Siri with a female. Would you say, oh, but you can shorten it to Sir? Well, yeah, you can. Serona is actually a Celtic goddess of healing. I did not know that, but now I do, because I had to go look that up because I wanted to see what is this name? Is there some truth to this? Do most Seronas out there go by Sir for short? Probably not. I don't think there's probably many people named that. But then again, there aren't many people named Dumbledore either. And if you shorten his name, it's dumb. You think they're mocking people who can't speak? Or maybe calling Dumbledore dumb? Is that actually homophobic because Dumbledore's gay? It's just so silly. These reactions are so silly, and it doesn't look good. It's not a good look to go and accuse everybody of bigotry. It's not a good look. It doesn't help your cause. You have a lot of people who are absolutely allies and who are being smeared as bigots. I'm sure that a lot of gay and trans people will play this game because there are a lot of gay and trans people who love Harry Potter, and they should be able to enjoy Harry Potter things without their peers telling them that they're bad for it. You don't have to agree with J.K. Rowling, although I still think that engaging with Rowling and her ideas is important, and I will get to that in a minute. But you have these crazy reactions online right now. You have Brianna Wu, of course. Any gaming controversy, there's Brianna Wu grabbing her 15 minutes of fame, refilling that 15-minute picture every chance she gets. She's saying she will cut ties with anyone who promotes the game. Gosh, how sad for those people. You have people saying that the lead game developer on this game is a neo-Nazi. Now, this is these people just saying things without any care for accuracy, because the lead game designer is a totally non-controversial person who has nothing to do with any sort of controversy surrounding this game other than being a part of it, obviously. People are actually thinking, of course, of Troy Leavitt, who I talked about yesterday, who was a producer on the game and had a YouTube channel where he talked about he criticized feminist frequency and The Last Jedi, and was sort of that taking that sort of, whatever you want to call it, an anti-woke position, but had absolutely nothing to indicate that he was part of the alt-right or a white supremacist or anything like that. But the games press in their bloodlust to smear somebody associated with J.K. Rowling dragged his name through the muck and essentially just lied, straight up lied. And a lot of people, globbed onto this and still think that there was just neo-Nazis working on this game. Neo-Nazis working on this game filled with a diverse cast of of complicated, interesting characters from Africa and the Middle East. It's just mind-boggling the stuff people come up with. J.K. Rowling, for her part, again, I find a mixed bag on all of this. I do understand where she's coming from with some of these things, though, and I think that choosing to simply not engage with that is a mistake. Again, I don't think that everything that she has handled everything well. She's very on the defensive a lot of the time, and I don't know that that's the right tact for her to take. But I was looking. Someone said, just look at her Twitter feed. It's just full of transphobia. So I went and I looked, and what I'm seeing most recently is discussion of this. Of a couple different cases in Scotland with prisoners who are being transferred or who have been transferred to all-female prisons who are identifying as trans women but have like violent assault or rape charges. So they're putting they put a rapist who had raped women and now identified as a trans woman in a prison with women who are much smaller and less physically strong. That's crazy, right? And then there's this case of Tiffany Scott, who appears to be extremely unhinged and dangerous, who stalked an underage girl from prison, who assaulted a prison guard and a nurse, who covered themselves with excrement and ripped non-rippable clothing to stage a fake hanging. Someone is strong, so strong they can rip that stuff, is supposed to be transferred to an all-female prison because they are calling themselves Tiffany Scott, and previously have been identified as the Almighty and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not exactly your typical gender dysphoria candidate. Not someone, clearly not somebody who is running around in dresses as a 4-year-old boy. Transferred to an all-female prison. So this is the kind of issue where I just feel like, why is this like, shouldn't everybody, including trans people, be saying that this is not a great idea, that these people appear to be using the trans issue to get moved from an all-male prison to one where they have victims on hand, plenty to choose from? Like, how is this somebody you want to defend? They're not going to be a good like face for the trans movement. Like, these are why would you die on this hill? Why does this movement seem to handle itself so much more poorly than the gay rights movement? Like, so many of these causes, like you're going up against Harry Potter and you're defending these violent offenders getting moved to all-female prisons. This can't be a good strategy for more tolerance and acceptance and compassion. It just can't be. I cannot imagine it's a good approach. So engaging on these issues in a productive way seems like a good idea. J.K. Rowling may not be. She may. I do think she's made some missteps. But I also think that a lot of the stuff she's concerned about, we have to have the context that, there are clearly people using this cultural moment, this current zeitgeist to slip through the cracks and to get out of, to be predators. I don't think that they are representative in any way of the broader trans community. And I think that you can both push for trans rights and acceptance and tolerance and compassion and say, look, these people are not that. These are dangerous criminals who are using this to their advantage. But this is the problem with radicalism. There's no nuance. It's just this way or that way and nothing in between. So I don't know. I might have to do a deeper dive into Rowling at some point. But for now, I think, just looking at it, looking at the facts on the ground, the fact that Hogwarts Legacy is taken off on Twitch, it's clearly going to sell tons of copies. I'm guessing at least 10 million, maybe more. It's going to be one of the biggest selling games of the year. Taking on Harry Potter, calling people bigots who like Harry Potter or things associated with Harry Potter, that's just not useful. That is not good political strategy. Also, we live in a bizarre world because in an alternate universe somewhere, the LGBTQ community is celebrating the release of Hogwarts Legacy as this great progressive video game with diversity and inclusion, and we have the backlash coming from the right, who's complaining about tokenism and all this stuff, right? This debate could have so easily gone that direction. Because people are fucking ridiculous, man. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting something that I wanted to say, but that's okay. There's time for that in another video. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, you'll get to hear me ramble on and on about these things. So yeah, you should do that. You should subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you should like this video and comment with your thoughts, and hit that notification bell while you're at it. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So yeah, I'll have more thoughts on Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going to go play it right now. Yeah, peace.